The construction crew was unloading equipment when I pulled into my driveway on Tuesday afternoon. Two men carried a large wooden sign that read, Mitchell Consulting Services, Professional Business Solutions. My brother stood on the lawn directing them, clipboard in hand. "What's going on?" I asked, getting out of my car. "Why, perfect timing," Mitchell said cheerfully. "We're converting the house into my office space. Dad's inside coordinating the renovations." I walked past him into my house, my 3-bedroom townhome in the gated Meadowbrook community. Inside, I found my father measuring the living room while a contractor made notes. "The reception area goes here," Dad was saying. "We'll need a desk, seating for 4 clients, maybe some plants. Professional but welcoming." "Dad, what is this?" He turned, smiling. "Excellent. I wanted to surprise you, but since you're here, we're converting your house into Mitchell's consulting office. He's launching his business and needs professional space. This location is perfect." "My house," I said slowly, "is becoming Mitchell's office." "Well, it makes sense," Dad said as if explaining something obvious. "You work from home doing freelance writing. You can do that anywhere. Mitchell needs a proper business address in a good neighborhood. This community has the right image for attracting corporate clients." Mitchell entered behind me. "I've already had business cards printed with this address. Look." He showed me a card. "Mitchell Chen, Senior Business Consultant, 2847 Meadowbrook Lane. My address. I'm converting the master bedroom into my private office," Mitchell continued. "The 2 smaller bedrooms become meeting rooms. Living room is reception. We're turning the garage into a break room." "And where do I live?" I asked. "Oh, you'll need to find an apartment," Dad said dismissively. "We calculated you can afford about $1,200 monthly. There are some decent complexes nearby. Mitchell will pay you $500 monthly to use this address, so that helps." $500, I repeated. "For my entire house." "It's generous," Mitchell said. "Most consultants don't pay anything to family for help. This is me being fair." I looked at the contractor. "Did they hire you to renovate this property?" "Yes, ma'am," he said. "Full commercial conversion. Permits are being filed today." "Permits," I said. "For a residential property in an HOA community." The contractor paused. "Well, they said they cleared it with the homeowners association." I turned to my father. "Did you clear this with the HOA?" "We don't need to," Dad said. "You own the house. You can do what you want with it." "That's not how HOA communities work," I said. "Did you even read the community bylaws?" "Those are just suggestions," Mitchell waved dismissively. "Rich people rules. Nobody actually enforces them." I pulled out my phone and called Patricia Henderson, the HOA president. "Patricia, this is Maya Chin at 2847 Meadowbrook. I have some people here claiming they're converting my property to commercial use. Can you come over?" "Commercial use?" Her voice sharpened. "I'll be there in 5 minutes." After I hung up, Dad frowned. "Why did you do that?" "You're making this difficult." "Because you're trying to illegally convert residential property to commercial use," I said. "In a community with strict bylaws that I actually read when I bought this house." "Illegally is a strong word," Mitchell said. "We're just using space efficiently. You're planning to run a business with client meetings, signage, and commercial renovations," I countered. "That violates at least 6 HOA regulations." The doorbell rang. Patricia stood there with Gerald, the HOA vice president and a retired real estate attorney. "Ms. Chin," Patricia said formally. "We received a permit application this morning for commercial conversion at this address. We need to discuss this immediately." Dad stepped forward, hand extended. "I'm Robert Chin, Maya's father. This is just a small family business. Any business operated from residential property requires HOA approval," Patricia interrupted, not shaking his hand. "Which you didn't request. Who authorized this conversion?" "I did," Dad said confidently. "As Maya's father, I'm helping make better use of family property." Gerald pulled out a tablet. "Mr. Chin, are you listed as owner of this property?" "Well, technically Maya is, but..." "Then you have no authority to authorize anything," Gerald said. "Miss Chin, did you approve this conversion?" "No," I said. "I came home and found construction crews here without my knowledge." Patricia turned to the contractor. Do you have written authorization from the property owner? The contractor looked at Dad. He said he had authority. I'm her father, Dad insisted. That's not legal authorization, Patricia said coldly. Unless you have power of attorney or ownership documentation, you're trespassing and authorizing unpermitted construction. Mitchell stepped forward. This is ridiculous. It's her family. We're trying to help Maya's property value by bringing business here. Business use lowers residential property values, Gerald said. That's why it's prohibited. Commercial traffic, parking issues, signage, all of it degrades the residential character we maintain here. The sign, Patricia said suddenly, looking out the window. You're installing commercial signage? The crew had already planted Mitchell's sign in the front lawn. Patricia's face went red. That's an immediate violation. Gerald, document this. Gerald was already taking photos with his tablet. Unauthorized commercial signage, unpermitted construction activity, commercial vehicle access. Mr. Chen, you're violating bylaws 4.2, 4.7, 5.3 and 8.1. I don't care about your bylaws, Dad said, his voice rising. This is family business. This is HOA business, Patricia said sharply. And you've just admitted to willful violation of community regulations. He turned to me. Ms. Chen, do you want to press charges for trespassing and unauthorized construction? Dad's confidence finally cracked. Charges? It's not that serious. You authorized construction on property you don't own, Gerald said. That's fraud. You hired contractors without owner permission. That's trespassing. You installed commercial signage in violation of community rules. That's vandalism. Mitchell grabbed my arm. Maya, tell them this is fine. You're okay with this, right? I pulled away. I'm not okay with any of this. You tried to take over my house without asking. You were going to evict me from my own property to run your business. It would have been good for you. Mitchell protested. The $500 monthly. I own this house outright, I said. I paid $340,000 for it 3 years ago. There's no mortgage. And you thought $500 monthly was fair compensation for stealing my entire home. The color drained from Mitchell's face. You own it outright? Yes. I'm a senior technical writer making $120,000 annually. I bought this house with my savings and a signing bonus from my company. Did you really think I'd be okay with you turning it into your office? Dad tried once more. Maya, be reasonable. Mitchell needs this. His consulting business needs a professional location. You can write from anywhere. And Mitchell can rent office space anywhere, I countered. There's a commercial building 2 miles away with vacant suites. But he wanted free space, so you tried to steal my house. Patricia handed me a document. Ms. Chen, this is an immediate cease and desist order for all construction activity. Mr. Robert Chen and Mr. Mitchell Chen are banned from Meadowbrook property pending a board hearing. The sign must be removed within 2 hours or we'll charge removal costs to your HOA account. My HOA account? Dad sputtered. You're responsible for violations at your daughter's address, Gerald said. The fines start at $500 daily and increase. Currently, you're looking at approximately $2,500 for today's violations alone. Mitchell looked at me desperately. You're going to let them fine Dad thousands of dollars? You were going to evict me from my own house, I said quietly. Yes, I'm going to let the HOA enforce rules you deliberately ignored. The contractor was already packing up. I want no part of this. Mr. Chen, I'll bill you for today's mobilization costs. Bill me. Dad protested. You didn't do any work. Not my problem, you hired me for illegal construction, the contractor said, loading tools back into his truck. Patricia escorted Dad and Mitchell to their car. I watched from the window as she spoke firmly, gesturing at the HOA bylaws on her tablet. Mitchell's business sign was being removed by the construction crew. When they finally left, Gerald stayed behind. Miss Chen, I'm sorry you came home to this. The HOA takes property rights very seriously. Your family won't be allowed back without your explicit written permission. Thank you, I said, exhausted. For what it's worth, he added, you handled that perfectly. Documentation, property rights, and knowing your community rules. That's exactly what protects homeowners from this kind of thing. After everyone left, I walked through my house. My living room that Dad wanted to convert to reception. My bedroom Mitchell planned to claim as his office. My home that they tried to steal for a business venture. Dad called that evening. The HOA fines are insane. Can you talk to them? Tell them it was a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding, I said. You deliberately tried to convert my property without permission. The fines are appropriate. But we're family. Family asks permission, I said. Family respects ownership. Family doesn't show up with construction crews and eviction plans. Mitchell texted later, "Thanks for ruining my business before it even started." I replied, "Thanks for trying to steal my house. We're even." They paid the HOA fines, $3,500 total. Mitchell rented actual office space for $1,800 monthly. Dad stopped speaking to me for 2 months. When he finally called, he said, "I still think you overreacted." I protected my property, I corrected. And I always will. The HOA sent a formal letter commending me for reporting violations promptly. Patricia joked that I should run for the board. My house remains exactly what it's always been. Mine. Residential. Protected by bylaws I actually bothered to read. They planned a business office. The HOA had questions. The most important being, who owns this property? When the answer was me, their business plan went bankrupt before it began. The sign lasted 90 minutes in my yard. My ownership has lasted 3 years and counting.